Welcome, fellow travelers. Your traveling buddy here, coming to you today from Lansing, Michigan. And today I'm attending a very special event today. If you watch my past videos, I did a video about a boys training school that used to be here in Lansing. And there's several boys that went there, died while they were there, and they were buried out in our cemetery called Mount Hope Cemetery. Well, most of them did not have gravestones. Well, this group, the Friends of Lansing Historical Cemeteries, they go around. They're a non-profit organization. They go around and they repair old tombstones and clean them up and all that, make them beautiful again. You know, they're very good company. They're non-profit. They try to raise money all the time to do this. Well, they raised money to get these boys tombstones. Well, they did it. They actually raised the money, and today they're going to have the dedication. And I'm going to attend that, and I'm going to film it. But I figured at first I'd take you around the cemetery and show you some of the tombstones that they do and get a little history. You know, they're a great company, group. And since I've met them, Loretta Stanway, she's the president of it, and she's a very informational woman. She knows a lot of history. She's the one me and Rob met. That's how I met her. And she told me the things in my cemetery that I never knew. Like the guy that held John Wilkes Booth in his arms when he died is buried in our cemetery. I never knew that. You know, she's a very historical woman. And she's a very God-blessed woman. So travel with me, will you? This is the Mount Hope Cemetery, and this is a famous cemetery where most of the residents are buried here. My grandmother is actually buried in here, and R.A. Olds, the inventor of Oldsmobile, is buried right in here. And said I met Loretta Stanway a while back. I brought my friend Michigan Anna Rob. You know, brought him here, you know, to show Olds' grave. Stanway. She was a real nice lady. She gave us a lot of information about a lot of stuff, and that's when I learned about the boys training school. And I did a video on that one. I said I'll put a link down in the description area for that video, so you can go check that out. You know, it tells you the whole story about the boys training school. And it says a bunch of boys died for several reasons, you know. And they're buried right out here, and for a long time they did not have any tombstones. And this group, the Friends of Historical Cemeteries, right here in Lansing's Historical Cemeteries, they take care of these cemeteries and all that. And believe it or not, just a while back they were repairing old damaged tombstones and all that. So I'm a little early, so I'm gonna take you around and see if we can't find some of the tombstones they fixed. And all that, and then we'll have the ceremony. Right here, there's a sign pointing to where it's going to be at. This is Welcome to the Friends of Lansing Historical Cemeteries. And the event's going to be right down there, and that's where they're going to dedicate the tombstones to the boys. And I said, they're real nice people. They go around, not just to the cemetery, but around Lansing, and you know, they're a real good group. You know, that they were raising money for this, but I'm sure they could still use money. And so I'll put a link down to their Facebook page and all that. So if you want to contact them and maybe donate some money to help them restore old damaged tombstones and stuff like that. It's a real good group. And this lady, Loretta Stanwyck, she's a real historian. She knows a lot of stuff. She's the one that told me and Rob that the guy that held John Wilkes Booth in his arms before he passed away is buried right here in this cemetery. We're gonna start out right here and see this mausoleum right here called Price. The name on there, Price. You've seen my past videos about the Bath school disaster. This was the grave of Keyhole's wife, the one he murdered before he went and blew up the school. And she's buried right here. The reason why it says Price, because her family did not want her name to be affiliated with Keyhole anymore. So they brought her here, and she's buried right in here. Buried right in there. That's the Price mausoleum. Right here is nonprofit organization trying to raise money all the time to help keep these cemeteries clear and all that. When she trained the school, I said it was overgrown. They said nobody knew it was there. They said one of the members had the idea of raising money. This kind of stuff that I hate seeing in cemeteries. Tombstones broken up like this, falling over. Try to fix it instead of switch it all over. Just like everything in the ground. They'll come on. Repair it. So it sits straight up again. I've been driving around for a bit, and I've got pictures here of the actual tombstones that they fixed from their website or their Facebook page. Having trouble finding it, so I'll just post the pictures that they've got. I'll share their pictures of the tombstones they fix. So that gives you an idea of what they do. They find tombstones that have fallen over and that. Especially historical ones, and they fix them up, and that way the people have a good resting place, they're not forgotten. of some of the cemeteries that they actually worked with. Right here, Mount Hope Cemetery, North Cemetery, and Evergreen.
It's on the bottom of that. So if you want to...
This is the Lansing Reform School for Boys. Michigan legislature approved money to build a house of correction for juvenile offenders in 1855 and passed an act establishing the Michigan State Reform School. Lansing citizens donated 30 acres of land about a mile from the capital and was placed by 195 acres purchased by the state. The institution was built on North Pennsylvania Avenue and called Industrial School for Boys. Located in the area bordered approximately by Pennsylvania Avenue, Saginaw, Marshall Street, and Jerome Street, the school took in troubled youth with criminal history. The first student was enrolled September 2nd, 1856. Enrollment by a year later totaled 54 boys and 8 girls. After the 8th girl, it was decided to exclude young women for obvious reasons. Originally, the boys did the farm work in addition to the classwork. Gradually, the classes were changed to vocational guidance courses. The classes in baking, hand weaving, shoe making, printing, carpentry, painting, and other trades. Over the years, the school was also known as the Michigan State Reform Boys Vocational School and several other variants. The final name was the Boys Training School. In 1917, the school held nearly 800 juvenile delinquent boys. It will also hold orphans in the later part of the 19th century. When boys as young as 10 were admitted, the Boys Training School erected a field house in 1925, which also hosted circuses. The later had bowling alleys. The circus was major events with elephants, clowns, acrobats, horses, riders, bears, ponies, and more. The school also had its own power plant, tailor shop, hospital, carpenter shop, and barber. Until the late 1930s, most staffers were cottage parents, usually a man and his wife, who lived on the property and managed a group of youth. The wife often served as a teacher, nurse, foster mother. Later, more social workers, teachers, and other professionals were added to the staff. At one time, a 35-piece band associated with the school became famous throughout the state, but was phased out during the Depression. In 1964, the facility had a capacity of 400 at the time during the Depression. In 1964, the facility had a capacity of 400. At the time, it cost $9.84 a day to host and educate a boy in a training school. The country and the state each paid half, except in cases where parents were required to bear a portion of the cost. In addition, a decade before the school closed in 1972, the Lansing State Journal reported its leaders had taken steps toward modern rehabilitation, including eliminating marching, compulsory military conspiracies around 1962. A portion of the more drill plot were sold over the years, including the land that is home to Eastern High School, Lansing Catholic High School, and the East Village subdivision. The school also established a community-based cottage where boys were placed a more like atmosphere. The work jobs in Lansing were allowed to come and go at will. The campus also were permissive, even though allowing smoking. In June of 1972, Governor William McKinnon announced that the 117-year-old state-operated school would close by the end of January 1973, saying it was delinquent to other modern approaches to youth services. Some of the young men were assigned to the W.J. McGinty School at Whitmore Lake, and others to Girls Training School at Adrian under a plan that involved making the Adrian School co-ed. Shortly before 9 a.m. on October 12, 1972, 41 youths climbed aboard a chartered bus and headed to the new home at the State Whitmore Lake Training Unit. For the first time in 117 years, the institution at 4000 North Pennsylvania Avenue was closed. One of the remaining buildings were demolished. In 1973, the only building remaining is the Don Johnson Fieldhouse, built in 1925 and renovated in 1976. Alright, fellow travelers, that's it for this video right here. I realized my video was going to be a little bit long, so I had to cut it short, and it'll be a two-parter video. The next one will be the dedication to the boys' training school. But I hope you got to see what these people do, and they're very great. And they have a Facebook page, and you can get their information there if you want to donate money to them, because they could use the money. You know, they don't make any money off from this. They do this out of the kindness of their hearts. So if you want to help them, I'll put the link down to their Facebook page and all their information. So if you want to contact them and donate some money, just a couple bucks, even if it's just a couple bucks, I'm sure it'll help. So until the next time, my fellow travelers, I'll see you around the mitten.